Welcome to today's reading for what's in store for you. We have 4 piles for you to choose from today using the bracelets. So group 1, we have the Peach Moonstone bracelet. Group 2, we have the Peridot. Group 3, we have the Smokey Quartz. And group 4, we have the Labradorite. It's a little bit hard to see in this light. So you can take a moment to choose whichever pile you feel the most drawn to. Once you've made your choice, you can jump ahead using the timestamps in the description box. Remember that these readings are general readings only, and that if you would like a private reading for like a more accurate reading, you can email me. The only email address I use is listed in the description. I do not reach out to anybody, and we'll get started with today's reading. Welcome group 1. If you chose the Moonstone bracelet, then this will be your reading for today. And the very first card that I've pulled is the 4 of Swords. And I was hearing something about like waiting for hormones to balance out, or hormonal changes to balance out, something like that. So some of you may feel tireder than usual. Some of you may feel more stressed, or getting the word lethargic coming to mind, but also for some of you it could go the other way, where you're not actually tired and slow. Some of you could kind of feel a bit more strung out, almost as if you've had too much caffeine or haven't slept enough or something like that. Could be a mix of things going on there for different people. So the first things first, I'm feeling like Spirit definitely wants you to rest, but also if you could exercise a little bit or like get fresh air would be really helpful. I'm getting something about staying away from like perfume. You know how perfume, even if it smells good, it's like made of chemicals. So it's not that you have to like stop using perfume forever. It's just like during this time while you're really tired, or whatever this feeling is you're experiencing with your hormones, if you could just like use the perfume like to the minimal amount that you could. I'm kind of getting a vibe here of like there are people in this group that like have a really nice perfume, or they just like wear it to death, or like everywhere they go. Like I kind of get the vibe. I know that I used to be like this when I was younger, and I would like just, I don't know, like coat myself in perfume before I would go somewhere. So I think there might be people in this group, or you like, even if you don't do that, you might have like a perfume that's like really sticky, like the perfume smell sticks to your clothes even after it's been through the wash or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so I think that's one thing they want you to be mindful of, and it won't just stop at perfume. It'll be like household chemicals, but I feel like perfume is one of those things that can typically be a little bit more invasive when you're more sensitive to it or unaware. So just something to be mindful of course, like if you don't feel like you need to do that, you don't need to, but for those of you wanting something extra that you can do to help yourselves, it would definitely be helpful. For some of you, your nose could be a little bit more like sensitive, or your sinuses, nose or sinuses or something like that. I can't tell what it is. I actually wonder if some of you get sick during this time, or if it is just the change in like metabolism and hormones and all of that. Some of you, I feel like you're parents and you still have to like look after family, and even if you're not a parent, you might like caretake, you might have you know, people staying with you, or little kids or animals or something. And so it's like your rest is really vital. Yeah. Also, working with tourmaline would be really helpful for this group as well. So Spirit never misses an opportunity to like throw out a few messages that, you know, might have been waiting to come through. So that's for group 1. Also getting something about like spending time in nature, but it's like specifically around plants. So even if you don't go out in nature because you're resting, if you have like a house plant that you can like kind of keep right next to the area that you're resting, like the more plants the better. As this it is what it is, all right? That's what they're saying. I feel like inclined to show this group a pretty easy houseplant across the board for most people. It's like a pothos. So, I don't know. I'm not here to really talk about houseplants. It's just something coming through. So there's many good suggestions online of different indoor houseplants that you can get that do well indoors. Okay, now that that's out of the way, so that looks like that's kind of where you guys are at and things that you can do to help yourselves at this time. Now, if it's not where you actually are, there could be some of you that haven't hit this just yet, and so this is like the what's in store for you. But I feel like there's more to it than just this period. There's also, I don't know, some of you like that being in nature. It's like being around, I think Spirit's trying to say to spend time around natural products. So if you can, yeah, like naturally produced products, not as much man-made stuff or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I know that's not always feasible or affordable or accessible. You know, and some of us live in climates where, you know, if you live in a place that's like prone to getting mold or something, natural resources can be harder to keep in terms of longevity. So anyway, okay, here we go. This is what we got. I'm actually feeling called to wear this for the reading. Cool. Also, for some of you, this could actually talk of, there could be a few of you in this group that like your hormones are either regulating so that you return to, you're like nurturing a state of like fertility. Like, I don't know if it's like ovulation or something like that. Maybe some of you are actually, for the women in this group, not to get graphic, but like maybe it's that time of the month for some of you. And then where else is here? Some of you, it's like maybe you didn't realize that your body went through a stage of infertility, and it's now will be a bit of a transition into a stage of fertility. So like maybe whatever you're experiencing might have been a bit full on your physical vessel, and now there's a level of like health returning, or the evening out, and like the hormones are kind of coming on later in the picture after other needs had to be met first, or other levels of health had to be achieved first for that to kind of come back. I'm not really sure. You know, there could be any number of reasons for that. Some of you may have just stopped using like oral contraception for all I know, but anyway, we're not getting into that. Okay, so first things first. So with this, I feel like we've got some people in the group that are like looking good, dressing up, putting effort into their appearance, and definitely like sending out vibes. I don't know, it's like being attractive, but like really healthy in like, I think that's what is like really attractive about this group at the moment, is that like you're very healthy. So maybe that's what's in store for you, is like you go through this little resty sort of transitional stage of like letting the hormones reset and stuff, and then it's like people are seeing you in this like very attractive, healthy, fertile energy. And I think that you guys are like looking next level good, where it's like you kind of stand apart a little bit, or there's something that you do that makes you stand apart, and whether you realize it or not. And then like some of you could find yourself in a position where you're actually bringing in a bit more material abundance than what you had previously. And if it's not the material abundance, it's the health. But once you get to that healthy stage, or you get that stability back and you're really comfortable, it's like you're free to really follow your truth again and your authenticity, and to step into that and start working on whatever it is that you're pouring your heart and soul into, and whatever it is that, you know, makes you, or I don't know, I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe it's just that you're looking after things. You're able to like surpass needs and survival. You're comfortable, your health is there, and then all of a sudden you're able to be like, this is what I want to see in the world, so I'm going to help nurture that reflection, or I'm going to be the change I want to see. Anyway, and then it's kind of like, it looks like maybe some type of like family fulfillment or like relationship fulfillment, something like that. For some of you, it might just be a case that you're actually finding this within yourself after you spend this time really getting to like work on this, and get to this stage. It's like you realize that you were your own 10 of cups this whole time, and you just never spent enough time on your own to realize it, and that you kind of are the whole picture. Like you are the whole, what's the whole package? Yeah, you are the whole package. Yeah. Okay, group one, there you have it. That's what's in store. You are the whole package. Anyway, I just don't really like seeing the Justice card come up in readings. It's so triggering sometimes. Okay, so for some of you, this person could be a Libra. For some, well, no, there's a Libra energy here, okay? There's Aquarius as well, so just, you know, take that how you will. But I don't know. I'm just going to lay some of these down. We'll just have a look. For some of you, there's like, I don't really understand what this is, but there was like an insecurity, and born out of that insecurity was like a need to take accountability or keep someone else accountable. There was like something maybe threatening the balance. Yeah. Yeah, maybe like this, all these good things that were happening here, the balance was threatened in some way. Anyway. What else do we have? So it looks like we have, it looks like, what is it, like the truth. There's like a realization. Either someone gets told something, they get let in on the truth, or they have this like realization, kind of get like a crisp clarity, like a moment of clearness or something, where they can see things the clearest they've ever been able to, and they realize that they're not there for the things they'd previously signed up for. It wasn't really what they wanted. And I think, I don't know, it's almost like, I want to say there was like no gratitude, and then there was like the loss after the fact. So then it was like the grieving the things that there was no gratitude for. But I don't know if that's really the case. I think there's an element of here of like, once you know the truth, you're like, no, I don't want it anymore. And then you're grieving the potential of what could have been rather than what you necessarily had. And then it's kind of like, you know, the thinking, the contemplating, like you have the whole world in your hands, like the potential's all yours again. This gives me the vibes of, you know, like when people are young, they have all the potential in the world. And then it kind of, even once you get older, as long as you still have relatively good health and things like that, you still have a lot of potential. But typically the older people get, the less potential you see them have as they sort of define their lives and they, you know, all the things that happen. Anyway, the point that I'm making is that Spirit is saying that he has the whole world in his hands. And so I think you guys find yourself like back at a point where like your potential is unmatched again. Yeah. Okay. So some of you may be confused at this time as to the things that you do need. Was just like a quick side note that I was getting there just back in regards to that hormonal transitional stage with your health. So it does look like this group has a need for protection, hence working with like the tourmaline. For a small group of people, maybe only like 1 or 2 people in this group, this may not actually be about you. This may be like a person around you or a dynamic that's kind of played out in the past, that you are contemplating, and it might have a type of impact over your well-being that affects your hormones, or it could be that like your hormones are affecting your responses to the scenario that has played out. Because for some of you, I see a person who was like really comfortable and stepped into their authenticity, and they had all the, you know, the family, the fulfillment, the things they wanted. And then like another person thought that like maybe the person in a partnership or someone else thought that it wasn't fair the way that it was working, or there was something here that they needed to keep balanced. And when they spoke their personal truth, you may have felt unacknowledged, or like this person was taking you for granted, or that they couldn't see the value in your relationship or something like that. So, you know, there's that sort of grieving and looking for what was outside of yourself or your relationship at the time. So it was just like a quick derailing there. I don't know why I keep getting like dogs. I feel like for some of you, like pets or dogs or something, or animals would be like really grounding and probably help really settle out all the nervous system. Spirit is highlighting like, you know, if you can wear grounding shoes or go barefoot, or like just spend some time outside. I definitely feel like there's people here trying to compete with this group. Okay. All right, I want to see if I can take more cards so that we can move on. Oh, this was the rest of the cards from before that we didn't take. Okay, so walking away from superficial things, finding the strength or a way to push forward, even if it means, you know, other people are getting upset, you're just moving forward. Some people are going to feel like it's a betrayal, or maybe to be able to move forward, and when you know, stop investing in something, like, you know, stop some sort of emotional investment in a relationship, the person may feel like it was a betrayal that you chose to stop investing, or vice versa, and that it can get people kind of hung up in their feelings, or hung up in their feelings, trying to think about the situation from different angles, and maybe not really coming to an actual conclusion here. Maybe getting a little bit too lost in the different possibilities of what it could be or couldn't be. And someone here is being tricky. Someone's not being truthful. And I think this person has a lot of feelings driving whatever they're doing in search of some sort of like self-love or fulfillment. This is a weird narrative that I'm getting pushed through. I feel like I've been picking up on energy like this for a while. And okay, we'll just keep going. Let's move on. I also want to mention we have like Cancer and Pisces and Scorpio energy here in the reading as well. So it seems like predominantly like air and water signs, or energies. We'll stick with energies. Like I do see a little bit of like earth and fire, but they're not the predominant energies in this group. I think for some of you, just seeing that like you hadn't been valued, so you're pushing forward. It may feel like it kills you to push forward on your own, and it may put you in a state, I don't know what the word is, like perpetual, I don't know, I don't think it's meant to be perpetual doom, but I think it's meant to be like perpetual sort of like, I don't know what it is. It's like just being stuck in the cycle and not processing and not moving on, or something like that. Or just being stuck in the feelings. I don't know. I actually feel like this is not what this card typically represents, so like in some ways. They're just saying like perception is everything. So maybe some people here are feeling stuck and will continue to feel stuck until they're able to access a different perception or a different frame of a situation. Maybe for some of you, you don't know how to handle this situation and you like come to conclusion you've got a way to do it. Is I don't know if you guys are necessarily doing like the wrong thing, or whoever this person is, but I just feel like maybe not like being super deceptive or outright lying or stealing or anything like that, although I feel like there's a very small group of people here that are. I feel like for most of you, you might just be being tricky in how you navigate a situation. You're like just being, I don't know what the word is, like a little bit opportunistic. You're like, you know what your plan is, you see that window, you're kind of like avoiding or evading something and just like getting on to the next part. I'm not really sure what this is. I feel like I'm jumping around heaps in this reading, so I'm hoping that it actually makes sense, or different parts of it like are resonating still. I'm sort of getting like a fleeting feeling or like a scattered feeling. And so for some of you, this is just trying to like get away maintaining what faculties that you have left. Like, I mean like cognitive, mental functioning ability. You're just like, I'm not hanging around for this. I'm going to take my mental health and we're going to get out of here. And if that's how we have to do it, then that's how we have to do it. But it can leave you in some deep feelings, or I don't know. I'm not sure if this is again you or a different person when you do go. There's like a really strong attachment here, and almost like a wanting to stay attached, or like a being upset at the other person for something not working out, or it's like rather than just grieving it and kind of moving on, it's like being fixated, emotionally fixated on a situation, and then having to look for that like fulfillment within ourselves, or what it is that's like special about us or whole in ourselves, how it is that we can best support and nurture ourselves regardless of like anything external to us. I know that can be a bit rough when, yeah. Okay, anything else yet? I just want to try a couple more cards from another deck, so it's like what's in store. Do some of you feel like you have been left for dead, and then you felt like the only way that you could handle this situation was to try to get back at someone, or maybe someone's done this? Maybe this is like one of the things coming up for you that's in store, is someone's like feels this way about you, like you've pulled back emotionally and they kind of want to like make you pay. I think Spirit is saying to like use your discernment. I think you know the truth. I think when this comes, you'll know exactly. I think some of you anticipate this. I don't know if it's just because like the situation, you can see something in the works, or you're getting, I kind of almost have like the Ace of Swords in my mind, where it's as if like the heavens are handing the truth. Maybe not Ace of Swords. Yeah, Ace of Swords. Almost like a claircognizance or something, like a knowing, or a I don't know. I think some of you are just like very intelligent, and you're seeing something. but Spirit wants you to exercise your discernment. But it's not even about discerning. Okay, there's what? So yeah, exercise your discernment, but there's no negative connotation here. It's like stay in your power, and it's like I think they're kind of affirming that it's okay for you to be detached in how you handle this situation. If people are going to kind of weaponize your emotional vulnerability or capacity against you or something weird like that. I don't know. I feel like there's two people here and we've got one person who is like quite cold and detached, maybe manipulative, calculated. And they might not be, because I feel like I quite often really resonate with the air qualities. And for me, a lot of it is just like that truth and that knowing and that clearness, and sometimes it can be like the being very firm in boundaries and things like that as well. But this isn't, I don't know, there's another person here who's like very vulnerable, very like heart first, or like heart over head. It's like opposite energies. One person's heart over head and the other person's head over heart. There seems to be like, maybe if there's not a difference in age here, there's a difference in intellect or class, nobility or standing, or it could be ethnicity. I feel like maybe like roles in community is probably more to the point, because you could be the same age and you could be the same gender and all that, although I'm not sure. But maybe you have different roles that are supposed to play out in society to each other. There's a lot of mixed messages coming through in this group one. So I would just say stick to your black tourmaline, make sure you get your rest, look after your health, focus on the things that matter, maintain clarity where you can, you know, have a true stock take on what it is that you have in life and be grateful for what you do have. And if there are things that you don't, you know, like that you have that you don't need or want anymore, or they're no longer, if there's something that's no longer serving you, just part ways with it, let it go gracefully, even if it's upsetting. If it's no longer serving you, it's probably not going to be less upsetting in the future the longer you hold on to it. And I think that yeah, there'll be that like time for looking out and thinking like, what else is there for me or in this life, making that call to walk away from the things that don't serve us, or like pulling back emotionally from the things that may have been long-term investments. You may put a lot into some of these scenarios and people, and it might actually be really hard for you to walk away from. It might be like pretty full on. You might feel, I think you probably feel like you're starting again, and that you probably have to be quite strong in how you push forward. Some of you may feel like you're wearing your heart on your sleeves, whereas others of you are like really, I don't know, anyway. But it's like, whether you feel like it almost kills you to get to this point, or there is like a type of betrayal that happens in this, or someone, even if you're not betraying someone else, someone sees you're pulling back as a betrayal. It's not about them, it's your decision, and it's okay for you to have your perception and your boundaries and stick by that. And it's okay for you to protect yourself. Okay, so I did have to stop my video when I was getting interrupted, and we've had like some of the candle wax bleed over the Four of Swords here. So I think it is Spirit's way of just getting you to come back to like rest and taking time. So anyway, that's everything that I have for you today, group one. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it jumped around a little bit and talked about many things. It's, I think, important to keep in mind with this reading that a lot of people are in different places in the timeline here. So some of what was coming up as past examples could actually be what's in store for some of you. I feel like this would be a reading that's like particularly important to keep in mind, like what you know to be true already, and if anything, just use the reading for confirmation of like your own intuition. So yeah, thanks for joining us anyway. Excuse me. If you're not feeling like this reading was particularly a helpful one, feel free to check out one of the other groups anyway. And if there's like another one that you're already drawn to, of course. Otherwise, there's plenty of other videos on my channel that are timeless videos. And, you know, they some of them are quite long, some of them are shorter. It's kind of like sporadic in how they come out, or spontaneous in how they come out anyway. So thanks for joining us. I'll see you all in another one. Okay, if you chose the Peridot bracelet, then this will be your reading for what's in store, what's next in store for you. And I was getting a message that some of the people in group 2 will actually be drawn to group 1 as well, or that group 1 may be helpful for you. So it feels like the current energy for group 2 is maybe not being happy with like where things are at the moment, or even if you kind of are happy, it's just not everything that you wanted. There's some sort of feeling like that. Like maybe like a wanting for more, or something else, or something different to like what we have or we're being presented with at this moment in time. And it's making me feel of like this experience where it's a very human thing to like want things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we are able to take like a view of like a higher perspective, we're able to see like what we need and the ways that we're able to make the most out of that moment that we're in at the time. And it can kind of keep us staying in that energy a little bit longer. Like it's kind of that thing of it can be really good to do something to like break up the energy. For some of you, you may just feel like, I don't know if it's like a feeling of being let down, but like life's just not coming through in the way that you had hoped or wanted. Yeah. And when we speak about Peridot, from what I understand of it, it's meant to be like the healer for the healers, kind of like how you can hear people speak about like the golden healer quartz crystal. Peridot is meant to be extremely healing, very helpful. It was probably one of the first crystals that I got. It was like the first that I ever had come through in a meditation, in like a vision of a crystal that I needed. The only unfortunate thing about Peridot is that I think it is considered like semi-precious or a precious gemstone. Because of that, it can be quite often more expensive or a little bit harder to get. You know, a lot of the crystals that we see, because they're not considered semi-precious or precious gemstones, they can be cheaper or at least more accessible when you go to a crystal shop. Something like Peridot, you can usually only either find in like chip form, like this bracelet, or in a jeweler. So that might be something just to keep in mind. Yeah. Okay, anyway. I just realised I had some Group 1's energy still hanging around there. So I did do a quick Palo Santo before pulling these cards out just to try to clean it up. But I might actually use some sage and just see if we can make sure there's nothing residual. Okay, so, I mean, I would take that as confirmation. How I said for some of you, like Group 1 would actually... it might be, you know, helpful, or it may resonate for you. Okay, now with that done, that might actually also be something for this group, is that, yeah, I feel like you definitely need to do something to break up the energy. So whether it's like a smoke clearing, like smudging type practice that you do. For some of you, I feel like exercise or like getting in and cleaning something up, whatever that looks like to you. I don't know, just going and doing something fun would be good too, or doing like a saltwater bath. Any of those things, whatever it is that you want to do something to change up the energy. Even if it's like you're kind of feeling flat or a bit melancholic, put like a fun song on or something, or like, I don't know, yeah. Maybe seek out a friend, maybe like a friend you haven't caught up with in a while, that you've kind of forgotten about, or something like that. Yeah. Or go do something different, like, I don't know, depending where you live, like, see if you could go to, like, a waterfall, or go swimming somewhere, or, like, I don't know, there's so many things you could do that would just be, like, random and spontaneous. So go somewhere you haven't been. Yeah. Anyway. Now I feel like I've stopped, like, violently regurgitating what Spirit says. We can move on. Okay. Okay, so it's like there's a really solid, sturdy offer that will be made to you of peace and security. For some of you, this could be a job, or it could be, I don't know, like a contract or something. I don't think it's a contract. It would be like a job or a type of work, a place to live. I'm not sure. It could just be like a really useful or helpful, really practical information as well. Whatever it is, it's good. I feel like it could be a potential... I don't know if I want to use the word solution. For some of you, I feel like it could be a solution, but for others of you, it could be like that something different that might help, I don't know, kind of pull you out of whatever you're in. And it might put you in a state of like thinking perceptually about where you're at and where you have been. And it in itself might do something to help change up the energy. But I don't feel like you should solely rely on something coming in to change up the energy. I feel like if you can do something to help that along would be great. Just so that you're maybe like more open or receptive to whatever this is when it comes in. For some of you, I realize that it may just not be like, the timing of it just may not be, I don't know, practical, I guess, with depending on like your capacity and things like that. If that's the case, I feel like you just have to make do with the best of what you have at the time, with whatever like is kind of put to you. Although I feel like you do have lots of time to think about it, or you take quite a while to think about it. So, and I do think you have the ability to think from many angles, like what this could be, how it could affect you, what you want from it, all those sorts of things. Let's see. I forget something else. It's going to take some of these cards and I think I'm going to pull from another deck. I was kind of getting the picture of a card in another deck that represents like Sagittarius as well, so that might be meaningful to someone here. I would just ignore it if it's not. We're not trying to make anything fit. Like this reading is not only for Sagittarius, so okay, so for some of you, you've got like some shadow work or subconscious processing that you have to do. For some of you, it's just that like breaking up the energy is the form of transmuting it. It's just the ability to change it. So it doesn't have to be this deep, dark, heavy kind of processing that you do. For some of you, that may be what you lean towards, and that in itself would actually be quite healing and really go in line with that Peridot, and Peridot may be really helpful for you during this time. Any green crystals. I am seeing like Moldavite as well. The only thing is with Moldavite, I would say it is not to be taken lightly. I wouldn't do it unless you feel like you need to. It is also very expensive. Maybe if you own Moldavite, I would take it as confirmation to start wearing it again. Moving on, it's like a transformative process, and there'll be some type of maybe like death of like an old belief system or concepts, or ego death or something like that. I'm not sure what it is. Whatever it is, it's transformative. You end up being much better off because of it. I think you also prove like a level of like grit to yourselves, like you understand a new level of what you can handle in life. Maybe there are old parts of you that die, but they're parts that like no longer served you, and they would have only kept you stagnant in your evolution as a person anyway. I do feel like overcoming that time will be particularly challenging, and you may feel like it continues to affect you for a lot of time to come after the fact. For some of you, that could be like, I'm getting, so it's like the number 8, could be 8 weeks, could be 8 months, could be 8 years, something like that. But I don't think you like, I don't know, I feel like it does dissipate over time, and it does get easier, and you do, I feel like even when it happens, I don't think that you're like oblivious to it. I do think you are aware, and I do think that you have the ability to see beyond it. It's just that you can't help but be where you are at the time, and all you can do is make the most of what you've got and just kind of be mindful. Like, I think as long as you're aware of where you're at, that's it. You're doing your best already. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, and then when you're able to step out from that, or like it could be one of the things that is kind of helpful for you in how you step out of it as well, is that thinking of like, what else is there to life, what's out there. For some of you, we've just caught up to where you're at on the timeline. Like all this other stuff has like already happened, and so this is where we need that like break up in the energy. So it's kind of like they could go hand in hand, right? And it's like, we know what's happened, we know where we're at, where we've been, how we are at this point in time, and we just need that little shift and break up in things. Some of you like, what's it called? A cappella, like musical instruments, sound healing, like, but maybe not sound healing bowls. Bowls could be helpful for some of you, but like the wooden clacking type instruments, like a wooden wind chime to break up that stagnancy. Yeah, wooden clacking, or like there's different bracelets and anklets that I see people wear that have like nuts and shells sewn onto them, and then when people like walk or move their wrist or whatever, wherever they choose to wear them, they shake and they break up the energy really well, and they can be really grounding. I think that would actually, something like that would be really helpful for this group. Like, you don't have to go around wearing it, but like the wooden wind chimes, even if you don't have these things, you don't have to go out and buy them. Find some sticks and hit the sticks together. Like, yeah, I don't know. Or like do some clapping, like just a bout of clapping. Just go crazy clapping for like a minute. Anyway, so moving on. So it's like you're seeing what else is out there, and I think you decide to like go it alone. and you know that you'll probably learn a lot on this journey. It could be like a journey that you choose to partake in, knowing that you're leaving things behind, or maybe not you're leaving things behind, but it's like for you to go somewhere, you might not have people that can come with you, or it's not about other people. Maybe you've got people around, but like it's that inner journey. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is how you become like the torchbearer. This is how you like learn how to guide others through the dark. I almost get like the I was gonna say Persephone vibes, but I don't think it's Persephone. It's like Hecate, who goes in with the torch and pulls people out from under. Yeah. Okay. And I think once you embrace that journey or embark on it, there's like a quick change, something coming in very quickly. Might be a bit, I don't know if I want to say shocking, or if it's just like there's a lot of energy behind whatever it is. And I don't know, maybe it's a message, or maybe I'm not sure what it is. It could have this group set back in like a feeling of being defensive or protective, and just making sure you've got all your ducks lined up in a row. But I think the thing is that you will have the ducks to be able to line them up in a row by then, because you've already been doing all this work. And you may still slip back into some of those like older energies, but I think you're much better off now, and you're much more discerning. It's just being very protective. Let's see what else there is here. Maybe this one. For some of you, it could be like someone trying to, I don't know. I know someone tries to start an argument with you, or like a heated debate, or they like have a conversation with you that goes sideways or something like that. But it's weird because they can like see that you're on your own, and I feel like that's kind of why they do it. And then you're like left feeling a bit like with a bit of a bad taste in your mouth over the person or whatever the situation is that happens there. So I would just say just being mindful of like the interactions that you have around yourself at that point. I think this is like probably particularly more important than like any usual sort of just confrontation or something happening, because it's like where you are at in your healing journey. Yeah. And then I feel like maybe those green crystals that keep getting referenced could be helpful for like helping you, I don't know, like help softening the blow, or helping you like recover from these or bounce back pretty quickly or something. But I don't know, you don't need them. Like, you know, there could be like crystal averse people that are here in this reading, and maybe just wearing like the color green or spending time sitting on green grass could be the thing for you. But I do get like a strong energy of like the Peridot. They're also this group, because I'm sort of getting Labradorite now. Sometimes you can get Labradorite that has more of like a greeny kind of sheen to it. For those of you who are kind of averse to the green crystals, or just, I don't know, maybe you want to wear it with Labradorite. Also, that being the case, I think group 4 could have something. I think it's group 4 that has Labradorite. I can't remember. Just check the timestamps in the description box if that's something that you're interested in, but there could be something there for you as well. So this, I feel like, yeah, there could be a few people watching a few different groups in... Group 1 is a big reading, and it does jump around a bit. It does seem to look back into the past a little bit, so if you're not interested in that, but I know, who am I to say, like, for some of you it may not have played out yet, so it could actually be what's in store for you. I think you'd probably be able to work it out pretty quick, whether it's an old scenario coming up or not, but I'll let you use your discernment and make that decision. And, you know, if it's not something you want to hear or you don't resonate with it, just click off. You don't have to follow through to the end of it. I feel like this is like the main messages, but I do want to take some more cards before we wrap it up for group 2. This person's like trying to throw shade at you, and they're trying to compete with you, and I think that they just see, they're being kind of calculating about how they do it. I don't know why this has to come through. Like, I feel like, why can't we just have good reading when no one's trying to compete? Okay. I think you come off confident, and just in like, maybe you're like confident in your intelligence, or confident in the way you operate in the world, or confident in how you communicate, or something like that. And this person doesn't understand, they don't know, they can't predict how you're going to move, or they can't see it, or something. There's something about that's kind of not visible. And so to them, you're kind of like a wild card in terms of how you might act in situations that play out, and they want to exercise a level of like control here, or they want to make sure that they are presenting like an outcome in which they are dominant, or something like that, or they see you as opposing their balance, and so they're trying to stop the balance from changing something. Yeah, so I think this is the same person who that 8 of Wands comes in from. It's like, so, I don't know if it's like a shocking message, or something happens pretty quick, and then you're like, boom, on guard. But you're successful. You've got victory on your side. You're I think you know how to handle this. I think you're pretty grounded in your feelings, and you're pretty reasonable in your stance. I think this is going to be a walk in the park. I mean, I don't know, maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be a bit challenging, but I feel like you overcome it better than what other people may do. And it's like judgment calls are being made. Yeah. That's it. Okay. That's everything that I have for you today, group 2. Hopefully this is helpful for you in some way. Yeah. All right. I'll see you all in another reading. Welcome, group 3, to today's reading of what's next in store for you. Just while I was shuffling the cards and pulling them out, I was getting it's like APT song. I can't remember who it's by. I'll find out, and I'll write the name in the description box under the timestamp for this group. I don't know if it's like Bruno Mars and... Oh, no. Okay, anyway, so... Yeah, okay. So, group 3... I'm not sure if there's like I feel like a lot of people are going to be watching multiple groups from today's reading. So group 3 may be drawn to group 1. If that's something that you're drawn to, it may be helpful for you. There may be something there. but that's not for all of you, so I would only go back and watch group 1 if you already felt drawn. I think someone has like a proposition for you and you like don't know whether you do or don't. You might feel like you've got a little bit of analysis paralysis in your feels about how to move forward, or what decision to make. Like you're trying to weigh up the outcome or the consequences or something like that. But the truth is you don't know how it's going to turn out anyway, and I feel like staying in that undecided energy kind of takes more of a toll on you, or it keeps you stuck when it's like a time to be moving, or if you like stay in between these deciding energies for too long, it could kind of make you more vulnerable to like some, I don't know if I want to say it's like a deception or a betrayal, or if it's just making you a target. It's like you are someone seeing you as like easy prey because you're like too consumed by like whatever this decision is in front of you, that like you're not paying attention to something going on and then something happens. I'm not sure. I feel like I can't say enough in these videos. Okay, we want the Smokey quartz, a little bit of a protective measure just to help absorb anything negative. Just make sure you keep it cleansed as well. Like Smokey quartz will transmute energy, like the negative energy anyway, but I know I would just say be careful what form you're getting your Smokey quartz in if you're particularly sensitive to energy and the energy of crystals and whatnot. I know it's not really a bother for a lot of people. For me, the chip bracelets can be very intense with their energy. So maybe if you're a person that has similar experiences, maybe just like a single tumble or something like that might be easier. Or a piece of jewelry like a ring or a pendant on a necklace. I don't know if you want to go that far with it. I feel like a tumble's pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty small. Usually cheaper. Yeah, there's also something here about like keeping your energy clean and clear and separate from other people. Like we want you to be in your own energy so that you can make decisions based on yourself and what you actually want and what serves you, as opposed to like, I don't know if there's like a people pleasing energy here, or if it's just the fact that like some of you may resonate with like having empathic tendencies, or being an empath and feeling other people's feelings or taking on other people's energy. And when that happens, it can leave us like, you know, toing and froing between what we want and what's expected of us, or what other people want, and not wanting to let people down and all that sort of thing. And I would just say like living like that will be a surefire way to slowly but surely kind of kill your soul. So if there's a way that you can put a stop to it, if you need to put in, I don't know, what is it like, if you need to put in some rules or guidelines as ways that you're able to maintain, to exercise that separation point, to restore the balance within yourself, that's what you have to do. But if you're going to do it, you need to like move on it, not sit around and think about it. You just need to make the decision, move forward. Don't go back on it, and you need to stick on it and stick to it. And when you do that, you're making that choice to like walk away. You're pulling any emotional investment, any long-term investments. And I actually think that this group will be so much better off for it once you do that. I just see like all your energy, vitality, health, your well-being, probably even more money, actual abundance, actual material abundance even returning to you. I think that you'll even have like more show up in the physical world for you, that like it would be helpful, it would make it more enjoyable. I think this is kind of like a sign of like you don't have to wait around for someone else. Like you can, it's, you know, if I kind of wonder if there's like, if they're insinuating that like you're going to meet someone where you're tossing up at the start of like spending time with a person, whether you like them or if you want to spend time with them in the way that they want to spend time. And I would just say stick to your guns, because you're so valuable on your own, and you don't need to have the person to be validated or to have a good time or to be healthy or looked after or anything like that. And then like once you are able to walk away from it and you're putting all that time, energy and attention and focus into you, and then you start to see your own life really flourish, you like really get to step into your purpose. And I think, yeah, I don't know, I just think that like people are always going to see you as this like bright magnetic person, and they're always going to want something from you, and they see you as a person who has a lot and there's a lot to take. And I think it's that thing, it's like you've got to keep your energy clear, keep boundaries in place and in check, make sure that you're doing what you can to stop negative energy or other people's energy affecting you. Saltwater baths, salt cleansing, I don't know, all that stuff. Some of you may need to do a cord cutting. If you're going to do a cord cutting within the same day, if you can, have like an Epsom salts bath to kind of clean up any residual stuff. I feel like if you haven't done cord cutting before, or if it's been a long time since you've done it, sometimes you can almost have like physical side effects from it if it's really, really adverse reactions. Like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes people on either ends can have adverse reactions. I know people talk about not doing cord cuttings. If you can find a way to disconnect from another person's energy that doesn't involve performing like a cut as per se, like if it was just a knot that you were able to untie and it was able to separate, that would be great. If you're able to find a way to like send loving energy to the connection so it softens and you're able to kind of like gently remove it or something like that, I would say do that too. But there are times where the connections are resistant to letting go, and they're wanting to take your energy, like I don't know, they don't want to let go regardless of whether you want to let go or not, and that's not respectful, and it's not respecting your sovereignty and your boundaries and your decisions and who you are as a person and what you want. And in that case, I would say, like, whatever it is that you need to do, you disconnect from it, okay? Some of you, what may be easier, I wouldn't say it's like a cord cutting, but it could be like a good in-between practice, could be like imagining that there's like a power board. So, when you get like a power board that basically gives you like 4 or 5 different like points that you can plug cords to run like electrical appliances or something off of. If you could just imagine seeing your own power board and seeing if other people have like their power plugs like connected into your board or something, like they're literally taking your energy, and all you have to do is walk along and go, that's not mine, pull it out and kind of like send it back to them or give it back to them, or just put it outside of your field, your energetic field or something like that. Take all the other people's ones out, and then once they're all out, maybe sitting next to the power board are all of your like extension leads or plugins that had been pulled out or disconnected by them. I know this is such like a weird analogy or method. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it. If you've got your own intuitive way of doing this, just do that. Stick to what works for you. But for those of you who don't, or you want something different to try and see if it's effective, this might be helpful. Go along, pick up your plugs and put them back in your own board and see if you're energetically sensitive. You should actually feel your own energy coming back in your field and circulating. Another thing that you might want to do is kind of set the intention. You might want to like close your eyes and just take a breath and just take a minute to say like, I call back my energy from anybody that is not me. Give it a second, take a breath. Feel it come in. Even if you can't feel that much, just the practice, like the ritual of the practice, or what the practice of the ritual, whatever. And then you want to do the same for the other person. So any energy that I'm holding on to that is not mine, will return it to that person. And you want to like be letting go of that person's energy. Take a moment, take a breath, let it release, and then kind of like move on. So some of you may need to, I don't know about making cord cutting a daily practice, but you know, a lot of those other little things that you can do, I feel like you need to really tighten up your energetic hygiene practices, or I don't know, just finding ways to maintain your own energetic sphere. Sometimes what that can look like for the people out here that are like not trying to do energetic practices, you're just trying to live your life. It might be that like a person texts you and you're in the middle of doing something, and it might actually be important, it might not be, maybe you're just watching a movie. Instead of like feeling the need to be super responsive and get back to them within a minute of when they text you, feel free to finish your movie or finish the important task at hand that you were doing, like you know, before you actually like sit there and look at it properly and respond, because that's a way of like kind of reclaiming your energy. Like you're not waiting on foot for another person just because they might be bored or something like that. I'm not sure. But I mean, you guys, you know, we all have like different types of interactions and relationships, and some of you may have really important situations at hand that do need tending to straight away. So I wouldn't say neglect important parts of your life, but just, you know, it's things like if you need to go to the toilet and there's like a text that can wait 2 minutes, it can wait 2 minutes while you go to the toilet. I don't know if this is something that happens for people in this group, but there's like that sense of urgency and responsibility. It's okay to take a beat. So yeah, anyway, enough about that. I feel like this group is taking back your energy. You're going to take back your own energy. That's what's in store. And I feel like for some of you, when I was sort of getting that song, like the APT song, because it says like meet me at the after, like the apartment, it could just be like maybe you're spending time with a new person and you like feel that sense of urgency to like want to go spend all your time with them. You might feel like you might miss out if you do, or something like that. I feel like if you're going to miss out because you can't get there in time, or it feels too risky for you, or you want to spend time in a more grounded, practical way, or a more wholesome way, or something like that than what's on offer, don't be afraid to just say no. And if you do lose it, was it really worthwhile? I don't know. That's you make your own decision there, but I think Spirit just wants you to be mindful of that, okay? So anyway, that's everything that I have for you today, Group 3. Hopefully this was helpful for you of like what's in store to come. I would just say be mindful of, you know, how good your energy is, okay? Especially when you like look after it and keep it. So yeah. Alrighty. Take care. I'll see you all in another reading. Thanks. Welcome group 4. If you chose the Labradorite bracelet, then this will be your reading for today. I kind of feel inclined to like hold this up so that you can see it, because it's, you know, Labradorite can look really different depending where it comes from and the different types and grades. So and notice like the color matching between like the Hermit card and the Labradorite. So funny. Okay, so we have like some strong Virgo energy here. I think some of you are taking time to prioritize the things that you want in your life. And so it's like looking out and seeing what there is and knowing that you want more than what you have, or more than what like you've found in life so far, or it's like time for something new or something exciting, or like a different way of living or an adventure or something more meaningful or powerful, something more like attractive or something that like really like sparks interest for you, or like something that like really motivates you just out of interest, or yeah, anyway. And I think during this time of like working out what it is that you want, you might come into contact with people. It's kind of like a subconscious type like manifesting, where it's like, you know, you want more, you don't really know what it is, you're looking out. I think you'll know as soon as you've seen it. Like, it won't take much, and you might even get to a point where you like kind of have several interests that you want to go after all of them, but I feel like they want you to narrow it and keep it 3 and under, no more than 3. Like, focus on a few things and, you know, really follow through on them, or like I don't know, what is it, like put more energy into less, see a better outcome, spend more time looking into them. You know, if you follow it to the end of the earth and you feel like you've conquered that, or you've, you know, learnt all you can about that subject or something like that, move on then, but follow it through to the end. Anyway, and I think on this journey of like, you know, and like starting off on this journey, you'll probably meet people with like similar interests. Some people may be more interested in like practical stuff, like, you know, the resources they can obtain from like said interest, or like capitalizing on like a hobby or like a passion or something like that, as opposed to just like doing it purely for like the passion and the interest. But I think you'll also like find people that you might end up working together with, and that might actually be really helpful. You might like meet people and accidentally network anyway, and it might be a case of like learning, but I feel like it's more skill building than anything else. And I think that you'll probably find other people that are like sharing similar values in how they move through the earth, the earthly world, like the human world. Anyway, and I think that like undergoing this time of like reevaluation and what it is that you want, and finding those like-minded people and finding ways that you'll work together or move forward within the world, you probably go through like a stage where you actually need to be like, you know, you're reprioritizing things. So you might actually have to cut off some old scenarios or old relationships that are actually not part of that priority, or not honoring that priority that you are wanting for yourself. And that's okay. Just because another person thinks that what you think is valuable isn't valuable doesn't mean that it's not. Like, any person who loves you can respect the fact that you value something, or you just like something, and that's okay. Like, if you like painting and they think it's lame, that's on them. Don't stop painting because they don't like it. They're obviously bored, or like don't have enough things to like fill their own time with, and they need to go do that instead of trying to like get you to hang out with them all the time because they have nothing better to do. Yeah, so it was a bit of attitude for you. And I feel like that's kind of the energy of the attitude, where you're going to be like, no, this is what I'm doing it my way, I'm doing it how I want. And you're going to be like really firm in communicating that. And I think it'll probably be like a little bit of a transformative process for you. I'm not saying there's not going to be teething issues, but I feel like it'll be pretty smooth for the most part. I feel like you're a pretty smooth operator as it is. Yeah. Anyway, and then it'll kind of be a case of like, I think you'll realize how much more freedom you have when you kind of like start operating in the world this way. And it'll be like the possibilities are endless or like limitless. The only thing is that I do think it can be overwhelming when you realize like how much there really is out there that like you haven't really delved into yet, or all the things that you want to do, or the different potentials and how to live life. What I want to say is I don't think any of them are necessarily like right or wrong. That's for you to decide. It's part of your journey and getting to know yourself. But I want to bring it back to things that are like, you know, you want to double down on what's fulfilling, what ignites your passion, and what's practical, and keep it like that less is more. Like, you know, you don't want to have the finger in like 7 different pies. You want to like have like 3 or less main focuses that you're like really pouring into and doing something real with and follow through. Once you follow through on them and you've like reached the goal, or you know you've seen it far enough that you know that it's not for you, or you're done with it, you kind of pass that, or you're bored, or you've moved on to something else, put it down then and start a new one. That's fine, but you're not going to start 7 new things at once. So they want you to be practical about it in true Virgo fashion. So okay, is there anything else here? All right, so I'm just going to take one more card. Some of you, I feel like this would be like a really new, exciting adventure too. So I think, and I almost just feel like it's the adventure of like meeting and knowing yourself at a deeper level. And I don't know if you just haven't really done it before, that's okay. That's but I think you'll actually enjoy it more than you would anticipate. Yeah, there's definitely going to be conflict around that whole like cutting away or pushing forward for the things that you want, or in how you reprioritize your life. Like you might just want more alone time than the people around you are like used to you having, and they may not understand it. I kind of get the feeling some people may take it personally, and conflict may arise out of that. I think as long as you just say like, I just want to spend more time on my own, and it's not for anything to do with you, I just want to kind of like have that time to do these new interests and, you know, whatever. I don't think you don't have to explain yourself. I don't even know why I'm falling into that trap. Maybe that's how you will feel, is like you feel like you have to explain yourself, but you don't. And I think that like, you know, if they have their own lives, even if they think it's a bit strange, or they talk to you about it or ask you about it, they'll probably be pretty accepting. They'll go back to their own lives and they'll be there when you're ready. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's helpful. So they're not going to take offense to it, even if they get a little bit insecure and then they kind of like sit back and wait, and then they would just realize it is what it is, or they take it for what it is, and they realize that, oh, she's just started painting and she really likes painting, so she goes and she like stays at home for like 3 days and she does painting, and that's okay. She's allowed to have a hobby or paint. If they want, maybe they could ask you if you want to go painting together or something. I don't know. Anyway, but like I just think it'll probably be like a bit of a tumultuous time for you, in terms of like your feelings, because it's like it is really beautiful, but it is like it might feel more, I don't know, I would say for some of you it kind of illuminates like a degree in toxicity, or like a double-edged sword or something like that, where it's kind of like I don't know, like balancing between something that's like really beautiful and has the potential, if taken a step too far, to be misused in the wrong way or mistreated or something like that, and it could have like potentially dire outcomes. So I would say that people need to be treating this time with a little bit more delicacy, or just giving things time to sort of work it out on their own, to like respect the feelings. And I think that yeah, I don't know, some people probably will just get caught up in their feelings, and then you'll kind of like see some colors come out that you wouldn't normally. But I think some people may just really get stuck in their head about it, and they may want you to, I don't know, like they may just be telling themselves that it's not what you're saying it is, and they may feel stuck, or they may not know what to do, or they may like, I don't know, some of them may have like intrusive thoughts about it, or they may I don't know, this is weird. I'm starting to get like almost like a spiritual warfare kind of energy. So I wonder if like you and like a particular friend end up kind of becoming like collateral in some weird spiritual warfare that's not particularly aimed at you, but like you know, this is weird, like your friend is on the chopping block for wherever this is coming from. That would be for a very small group of people, hence why the Labradorite would be here, because it's like protection with the psychic attack stuff. But I would just ignore that if that's not something that resonates for you. No, yeah, anyway. And I would say that it could be going back to things like intrusive thoughts or like ruminating thoughts or something like that, that could be really keeping people stuck. And it's like a lot of mental energy, it really is. And then it's kind of like some people's thoughts or feelings, they're letting themselves be deceived because of how strong their thoughts and feelings are, and they're stopping themselves from seeing the truth of the situation here. And then for others of you, I feel like there is like a level of deception that kind of comes out in them wanting, it just makes me feel like a person wants to spend time with you, and they may say, you know, like kind of put forth like a certain type of situation to get you to go spend time with them, and then you might work out that maybe it wasn't as important as they said, or something like that, and that if, you know, maybe it wasn't urgent and you could have kept doing the painting for 3 days, and at the end of the 3 days you would have had like a week to spend with them, as opposed to like every day, as opposed to just like going and spending half a day with them to realize that it was just some sort of play or misuse of your time, or like that communication, right, like not respecting the relationship or something, to get upset or annoyed because of like the miscommunication and just being at different stages in life, right? Like it's no one's fault that like people are at different stages of life, but there's got to be like that level of respect there. And then you like don't want to talk to them for a week, so it's kind of like take your pick. What do you want to do? Yeah, but I would just say just like don't fall for like a manipulative emotional play during that time. But I would also say that I think that it's just like a sensitive topic, and I think that like I feel like there's a particular person here that just really loves you or really misses you, or they really value your time or attention or something. And yeah, anyway, okay, so anything that I've missed? No. Anything else? No. Okay, we're all good here, group 4. Hopefully this is helpful to you and what's in store for you. This group seemed to be a lot clearer than, you know, the first 3. So yeah, let us know how it goes in the comments anyway, and I'll see you all in another video. If this is helpful to you, like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye.